Hello everybody, we need to talk about Mr. Beast. We need to talk about Mr. Beast. So the last time we talked about him on this channel, I don't exactly remember. I think it was Mr. Beast, the movie. And there were all kind of allegations flying back and forth, not only about and surrounding Mr. Beast, Jimmy James Donaldson, but also his whole entire collection of cast and crew and characters, right? Well, he has now responded and we need to discuss his response. I thought I would just take in turn and just kind of tell you all the things that I found to be the most interesting of this whole response. Now, notably, all of this kind of started to spin out of control because of the allegations against Ava Chris Tyson. And allegations are just that, that until proven in court with evidence and stuff. But it wasn't really looking too good. Well, the whole entire first round of the whole interview goes by, comes and goes, opens and closes. And Ava Chris don't get brought up not one time. It's like all the little drama and everything that was going around, now that people can't tell the trees from the forest. Like he forgot, like Oompaville forgot to ask about Ava Chris. The Shadman allegations, but, in his defense, he asked about it the next day, but back again, not really. Maybe I missed it, but he was kind of asking about the Shadman allegations. He was asking about, anime picture posters and things, but it didn't seem like he was really asking too much about the allegations, that spawned this whole thing. So just interesting to me. I found the responses to the allegations to be intriguing. Sometimes in some cases, I found them, in my personal opinion, to be peculiar. Like right out the gate, it was like the thing that what's his name? Jimmy
Donaldson.
I don't forgot his full name. It's just James Donaldson.
Jimmy Marie.
Check it out on Mr. Beast, the movie. Anyway, so it's like he comes right out the gate and it's like the first thing he really wants to address is Delaware.
The big one that, videos with tens of millions of views collectively, claiming I called a guy Delaware because he committed a crime in Delaware. Mm-hmm. That is not true. His name was just Delaware. I didn't, call him Delaware to make fun of him or anything.
And I'm like, oh, good. This is good news because that is one of the 1,050,011,000,000 allegations that's been made against the man that I actually find to be a little bit, I want some answers about that. What's the deal with Delaware? He was on set with people that was maybe kids. I don't know. He was winning houses. He's on the registry and all of that. And so I'm like, I do want to know about Delaware. So now we have Mr. Beast, Jimmy James Donaldson, bringing up Delaware. Great, wonderful, love that. And then he's like, there was a conspiracy out there that they were calling Delaware that because he had committed a crime in Delaware, and that wasn't the reason at all. There's a video of him with a name tag that says Delaware before I ever hired him.
But there's literally, he was in a video before I hired him working at Best Buy wearing a name tag that said Delaware. And that was public information. And anyone could have saw that. Even during when that was getting shared a lot a couple months ago.
And I tried to send that video to YouTubers and no one wanted to put that evidence out there because they didn't care.
I even sent that to a couple YouTubers. I was like, hey, just so you know, I didn't call him Delaware because of this messed up thing. That was just his name and here's proof. Mm-hmm. And I guess I probably shouldn't say the name of the creators, but one of them literally just said to me well, it's not really cool to like you or defend you right now, so I don't really care whether or not it's true, or I don't want to take the video down because then people are going to think I'm controlled opposition. I was like, whoa. And
it was like, okay, first of all, he didn't send that to me. He probably found that from me because I've yet to find another YouTuber that has included that in their video before me. His brother-in-law was admitted criminal, admittedly on the RSO registry, and was working for Mr. Beast too. So where's that same energy? People would call him out. According to Jake the Viking, Jimmy, Mr. Beast Donaldson, and his mama Sue, the real Mr. Beast, as far as I'm concerned, they knew. It also surfaced that Jimmy was in that controversial Discord server, and he even sent an inappropriate message in there himself.
Right after that second DogPack video started to get traction on Reddit and saying hey, this is a lie. Jimmy didn't call him Delaware to make fun of him, committing a crime in Delaware. That's just his name.
And Mr. Beast, Jimmy James Donaldson, gives this origin story of how he hired these people. And he's like, I just walked into a Best Buy and just started picking out people as a 19-year-old. And then they were going to work for me. And I had never heard of a background check.
People allege that you hired a registered sex offender named Delaware. There's a big whole conspiracy with it. Why did you hire Delaware? And were you aware that he was offender before you hired him?
Yes, I did hire him, but for the context around it, I hired him when I was 19, so I was a teenager, and this is kind of leans a little bit into what we were talking before. This is back when it was just a couple of my friends from high school, my mom, my videos were getting bigger. I needed more help. And so I walked in because I'm dumb. Like, I probably should have gone on some site and hired people who had production experience, but instead I walked into my local Best Buy and I just hired multiple people. Obviously, when I was a teenager, I didn't know what a background check was. And I just hired a couple people there that wanted to help me make videos. One of them was the person named Delaware. And no, I did not know he was a registered offender.
And it's like, all that's fine and good until you really think about the fact that his mother, Susan Marie King Donaldson Perisher, was the first female prison warden ever at this German prison during a time of war. And it's like, okay, y'all never heard of a background. Okay. So he's like, well, I didn't make Delaware's name up because he committed a crime in Delaware. Now, interestingly, they don't really address the crime. He does say, well, he was working at a Best Buy, so I would have assumed as a 19-year-old that if he was working at a Best Buy that they did a background check or whatever. Oh, and I also checked with other YouTubers, and only 2 of them out of 24 that I asked, only 2 of them have an HR department, so, it's not really that bad on me. And it's like, wait, I need to know how many employees they have, because he was like, oh, more than 10 employees or something like that. I was like, wait, hold on, no.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Yeah, and then, Oompaville did make a joke at Mr. Beast's expense and said, like, who's going to do the internal investigation? Your mom, because his mom was the head of HR.
I mean, because there's 2 things I could do. I could do an internal investigation.
Yeah.
But that's dumb,
great idea.
because I don't want to audit myself.
Let your mom do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let my mom do it.
He didn't want to put out more details on the investigation.
Would you consider making some details of the investigation that have yet to be seen public? Obviously, there's like a level of confidentiality that is required legally.
Exactly, yeah.
But like, is there anything?
Well, that's the thing. Like, what we put out as much as we could, but I mean, obviously they did dozens of interviews, including alleged people who were victims, and I mean, like I said, my message to my girlfriend, like they gathered a lot, so I don't really think I can. I mean, there's a lot of sensitive data and information in there.
What about like a just to back up your claims to their
but things on like how like they did it independently and they weren't biased, like that side. I mean, I don't really know what people would want to see, but yeah.
This Oompaville character does interview him a little bit about the workplace culture. They talk about diversity issues in the workplace. They talk about HR problems. They bring up again that his mom is the one who was in charge of the HR, and he again tries to kind of act like they were just this little mom and pop starting a YouTube channel, and it's like, no, she's high level military intelligence, like, and law enforcement. He does admit, though, on camera, Mr. Beast does, that it was stupid to have his mom be the head of HR. His mom being the head of HR was a conflict of interest. He admits it. Around the 25-minute mark, he's like, oh, I agree. That's a dumb thing to do.
Your mom was previously head of your HR department, and some people have criticized that as a conflict of interest. Did you personally, at the time, even consider that? Mm-hmm. And do you now also acknowledge that is a conflict of interest?
Oh, I agree. That's a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
I do think context matters, though, because
people conflate the old Mr. Beast with the new Mr. Beast, and I don't really know where the division line is, because it seems like he's trying to say that during the Time magazine article that was the old Mr. Beast, but that was like 2 years ago. It's 2022, post-pandemic. Like, what do you mean? So when did the new one start? After the scandal? Was this the rite of passage? This was the bangers?
Like, this is where a lot of these things that I assume we're going to talk about is like people conflate current Mr. Beast with 400 employees and spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year with Mr. Beast when he's a teenager and starting. I mean, when I first started hiring people, it was like, oh, we went to high school together. You want to help me make videos? And I hired a couple of my friends for high school. So, and then I was like, how do I do taxes and this kind of stuff? And I was like, Mom, help. And so, I mean, I wouldn't say she was head of HR. I mean, she was, I guess, but she was also running finance, and it's not like a real company. We just get in this like little $700 actually that one was $1,080 a month office I was renting, and I'd just be like to this one guy that I knew from high school, all right, today you're gonna go paint this thing. Today, you, friend number 2, you're gonna like help me edit this, and you, friend number 3, you're gonna go to the store and buy 1,000 chickens that like scream when you press down on them. And Mom, I don't know, just make sure the IRS doesn't sue me. Like that's the time frame we're talking about here. But yes, I agree. Like, it's stupid. Like, you definitely shouldn't have your mom as an HR person. You should just hire someone who was educated in HR, which is obviously what we have. We have an HR team now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Then he talks about the no doesn't mean no allegations, which we also covered in Mr. Beast the movie, where he had this employee guidelines book, production manual, and he was like, no doesn't mean no, just like forge forward no matter what. I think he did a decent job at explaining himself as to what that really meant, but I still stand by what I said previously, which is like everybody kind of already has a connotation about the no means no or the no doesn't mean no. Like we kind of all know it has a certain connotation. And so for that reason, I feel like his explanation is fine, but it's not good enough for me.
The no doesn't mean no policy that was criticized, that was crazy. I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, what the fuck?
Well, you're answering for me. Let me answer.
Hold on. It was criticized, especially by Soggy recently, of having been taken out of context.
It's funny, even the word like policy. It's like so when we started hiring more people, I wrote this little, I almost like advice book just for a lot of employees because I wasn't able to talk with people as much as I was early on. And one part of it that people, when this thing got leaked, and I wrote it with some other people in my company, it wasn't just me, but when this got leaked, there's a section that said no does not mean no. And then they just like cropped that out and they're like, look, this is proof Jimmy's immoral and evil. When obviously, like you were saying, if you read the context below, it makes sense. The gist of why we had a section that said no does not mean no is because we do, I don't know if anyone's ever seen our videos, crazy things that have never been done before, right? No one's ever, on YouTube at least, buried themselves alive for 7 days. No one like tries to dangle an obstacle course from cranes. And it's like, the problem I kept running into early on when I was hiring people is I'd be like, hey, I want to do this. And then they would go call someone. So like, let's say the obstacle course in the sky, where we had like these obstacle courses that Mac did, held up by these cranes, weighed like 100,000 pounds or whatever. Like they would call crane companies and they'd be like, no. And then they'd be like, okay, hang up. They come to me and they go, Jimmy, they said, no, we can't do it. The video's not possible. And it's like, okay, well, of course they're going to say no because everything we do has never been done before. But like, ask them why. Like obviously, if they don't be rude, but if they say no, just try to understand why, right? And a lot of times you'll have an instance where like, well, we can't get all the cranes at one time because we're renting them out. And it's like, okay, perfect. We respect that. But
then he does briefly talk about the CGI and the authenticity, credibility claims. I mean, y'all, seriously, literally never was I watching a Mr. Beast video to try and see something that was realistic. So to me, the CGI of it all never like really wasn't my biggest concerns. You know what I mean? So he did address that. He also addressed specifically the allegations having to do with the charity hospital Beast Philanthropy video. Apparently, it was edited in that video to look like there was no hospital, and then here came Mr. Beast and team and fam and built up a hospital, and now they're treating patients. That is in fact not what happened. The hospital was already there. There was a strange excuse that Mr. Beast gave, basically just slipped through the cracks. The editors shouldn't have done that. They were trying to show that at the beginning of time there was no hospital there, and then now there's a hospital and it was moldy, and I don't know. He did say that it was a mistake.
There was an allegation that you used CGI to create the impression that you guys built a hospital, part of a hospital, in order to deceive viewers or manipulate them into believing that you did more than you actually did.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Honestly, truthful, dumb mistake. At the start of one of our Beast Philanthropy videos, they were trying to show what this like building looked like in the past, and in the past that hospital wasn't there, so they removed it in the editing. Which and this is just like a small part of this isn't even like the point of the video was that we built this hospital or whatever. There was just a shot at the beginning, but some people saw that and like thought we did build it, which is not the intention, and so it's just a dumb mistake. Like trust me, when I saw that, I talked to the editors. I was like, come on, like, I have 100 editors, and obviously we have a bunch of different channels and things like that. So it's hard for me to like speak with all of them, but it was just truthfully a silly mistake.
And he said, quote, Beast Philanthropy, since that video, is, quote, struggling to get brand deals because of the, quote, slander on it. Specifically after the hospital video, he says. But he did call that a dumb mistake earlier. And he said, he talked to the editor and tried to make sure that they weren't going to do that again and did all of that. So it's like, is it a dumb mistake and you're admitting to it, or is it slander? Because to be slander, it has to not be true. So if you're admitting you made the mistake and people are pointing the true fact that the mistake was made, then...
And it's a little unfortunate because Beast Philanthropy, my YouTube channel, how do I say this where it's like I'm not trying to... Like... is literally owned by a 501c3. Like, it's a YouTube channel that is a nonprofit, which is crazy. Like, as far as I know, that's the only one. And Beast Philanthropy does so much good. And like that, what's the only reason people, this is what's funny, because like to the people like trying to call me evil and say we fake philanthropy, the only reason anyone even knows any of this is because we actually did a behind the scenes video on that video. So like clearly I wasn't aware of this because we did BTS and we were the ones who revealed this information. You know what I mean? So like if we were trying to hide things, like we wouldn't have done BTS on that video. That's how people got this information. So it's just like a little mistake, but it's sad because now people are using that to point at our Beast Philanthropy channel, which does a lot. I mean, it will just scroll through the videos. I mean, whether we're building schools in Africa or, I mean, and giving electricity to remote villages, or we're giving clothes to people who don't have it, or we're feeding people. I mean, it does a lot of really good projects. Now, truthfully, that channel is struggling to get brand deals because of all the slander on it, because everyone, you know, has convinced advertisers that the videos are fake and that it doesn't actually do philanthropy. And it's like, it does. And just like one little editing mistake on one of dozens of videos. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate because it's actually having a pretty severe impact on the charity and its image. And like, I don't know, just unfortunate.
I mean, facts ain't defamation, unfortunately. Now, listen, there's other allegations being made against Dawson French, DogPack 404, and Rosanna Pansino, and etc. And these allegations are being made that they intentionally are misleading and lying. Specifically, Dawson, DogPack is intentionally misleading and lying. We'll get some more of that later. They talk a little bit about controlled opposition, but I do find it interesting that throughout this whole thing, Mr. Beast says the big regret he has from the whole thing is he wish he would have spoken out sooner. He wish he wouldn't have taken those people's advice as to stay quiet so long. He wish he could have spoke out sooner. And that's all fine and good. But then throughout this interview, he's given us examples of times he had reached out to YouTubers, other people, trying to get them to tell a story, trying to get them to show evidence, reached out to Reddit. He's on Reddit trying to get them to put evidence up on the Reddit. And he's doing all of this stuff. And he's like, but I wish that I would have just not stayed quiet. It's like you're admitting to doing a public perception media push, and it's like I don't know how else to like define it than that, you know. He also admits that this controversy hasn't affected him in his quote real life. It's only online.
How does it feel in real life? Do you feel it in real life at all, or is it just internet?
No, it's just the internet. We talked a little bit before this. I mean, also it's late at night. I just flew here to do this. This is a very impromptu thing.
Yeah.
But for like the 10 minutes we were talking before we started recording, I was telling him like, no one in real life has any idea of any of this. Like I meet hundreds of people and they're all just like, yo, what's up, Mr. Beast? They never bring it up. Yeah. But then you would open up Reddit. I mean, it doesn't help that they're censoring positive posts, but, and you would think, well, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, that does make sense. You would think everyone hates me because anyone who doesn't, their post gets deleted. So actually, that makes perfect sense.
But it does seem to be that might be a little bit of a discrepancy from earlier when he said that he was losing opportunities for Beast Philanthropy sponsors. And then 56 minutes, he admits again to sending the soggy cereal video to a couple YouTubers in like a Media Matters fashion.
Soggy has criticized you sharing his video with other YouTubers as a way to shield yourself from criticism, you know, like DMing the video to people. He also expressed feeling used by you, given that you used his video as a strategy to gather favor from the public, which, you know, that's pretty wordy. It's like it just happened today. It's got to be something like,
I saw that video and it, you know, disproved. I mean, there are some things in there I don't agree with, and he does go pretty hard on me, so which people seem to forget. But there are a lot of things in there that he disproved, and yeah, I mean, I got excited and shot it over to a bunch of creators who covered the false information, and was just like, look, you know, I could see how, you know, that looks like I'm hiding behind it. Luckily, I'm here talking to you, so I don't think that will be a problem anymore. But obviously, you know, he's not, when he tweeted that, he, you know, doesn't know we were doing this, doesn't know this is coming out. I mean, he might now. I don't, you know, you talk to him, but yeah. So like, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? It's a reasonable thing. Like, I think.
And he's sending this YouTube video all around, and they keep saying the soggy video, the soggy video.
By commenting on his video, you left a comment on Soggy's video after it was posted. You said, "This is finally a video that doesn't spread baseless slander about me."
Yeah, I mean,
lol.
obviously that was a stupid comment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, how do you think that looks? I mean.
Yeah, dumb. Like,
yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
Especially the LOL that just...
Like they're on a first name basis with this channel.
In the very beginning, I thought Soggy had good intentions.
Or dog...
Sorry, yeah, DogPack. Exactly, yeah. Soggy does have good intentions, in my opinion.
Soggy Cereal, who I'd never heard of in my life until Cam Nuggets, somebody who I have become friends with, like, online through our Mr. Beast coverage.
Way. Pose.
28.
He was saying that he was getting videos removed. He was getting strikes on his channels. And there was this soggy cereal fellow out here saying Cam Nuggets was everything but a child of God, that he was looking at CP type of material online. On stream, he said that this soggy cereal accused Cam Nuggets of doing some very untoward behaviors of that type, which just wasn't true. He was actually just scrolling through the Discord servers that were released, the chat logs that had been released, and there was some pictures on there, but he took it off the screen and he didn't show it on screen and stuff like that, and he just scrolled by. And so that's the only thing I heard about this soggy cereal. And then he had to take that part of the video out. The part of the video is not even in the video anymore, but it's going viral, and sure enough, Jimmy James Donaldson is sending it to all his friends behind the scenes, and it's like, well, that man's credibility is shot, soggy cereal. He called Cam Nuggets everything but a child of God whenever he wasn't doing any of that stuff. So that's the fighter you chose. And no, it couldn't be me. It's embarrassing. That's the credibility. Oh, but buddy. Anyway, then Oompaville just asked him straight up, do you believe you ran an illegal lottery? And he's like, pretty much, no, I don't.
Dawson claimed that you ran multiple illegal lotteries. And, in Soggy's video, he sort of, I think, disproved 2.
Yes.
And then 1 he still believes was an illegal lottery.
Yes.
Do you believe that you ran an illegal lottery? Did you believe at the time? What was your mindset? Did you check with the FCC? Was there any compliance, any steps taken to prevent this? What is your just perspective on that?
Yes. So I don't think we did. I have people looking into it and like trying to pull the footage and figure it out. He disproved the 2, which I mean, those were crazy. I don't want to just like speculate. I have a team looking into it. I don't think we did though. But regardless, just to be truthful, if people want a refund or think for whatever reason, like we did something wrong, like I'll send you a link that you can just put in the description where they can get a refund. Maybe just throw it on the screen here.
Now, importantly, there were some isolated incidents of harassment found by this law firm that they hired to do the third-party investigation.
When we brought the outside third party in and, I was like, hey, talk to whoever you need to, get an honest pulse of how some people are feeling. There were some things that, people hadn't made us aware of that they, felt more comfortable talking to Quinn Emanuel on.
And then it takes an hour into the interview, but finally an hour and 1 minute in, he asks Jimmy Donaldson, are you going to sue DogPack? And he kind of goes around about, like he won't kind of just straight up say, yeah.
Are you going to sue DogPack?
Well, there's tons of examples of him intentionally manipulating things to not be true and posting it online. Tons and tons and tons of that. Soggy has basically an hour and 27-minute video, and an hour of it is just flat out proving manipulation and lies, and caused a lot of harm to my businesses. I mean, I've literally had people pull out millions of dollars and then tell me it was directly because of his video. And don't worry, I instantly was like, can you send that in writing? So, if I win a case or anything, I can directly point damages. No reason why. And so, I mean, it's just unfortunate. Like, I don't want to be put in this situation, but probably going to have to. I mean, it's just...
He does say that it's his belief that DogPack intentionally manipulated and lied about things, which is actual malice. He's alleging that people pulled out millions of dollars of sponsorships and stuff, lost business, which is harm, and he has evidence in writing that it was, quote, directly because of Dawson's videos. Mr. Beast says, it's unfortunate. I don't want to be put in that situation, but I'm probably going to have to. And then Oompaville's like, so yeah? And he's like, well, they're not done drafting it up yet, but once they're done, probably, yeah.
I mean, what do you do if someone's just spreading misinformation about you and, just causing harm to your business and like getting it to the point where you might have to potentially fire people because it's costing you so much revenue? It's like, it's not fair to the people in my companies. You know what I mean? It's just sad, It's not a thing I take joy in, but
right. Yeah. So, okay. So, yes.
They're not done drafting it up, but once they're done, more than likely, yeah.
Okay.
And then he's like, and I'm not scared of discovery because look at me, I'm sitting right here. This is discovery. And it's like, oh, baby boy. If you think what Quinn Emanuel did was bad, wait till it's somebody on the other side of this fighting for their life. Oh, my God.
People are like, oh, he's not going to sue because he's worried about discovery. No. I don't give a fuck. Why do I care? I'm here. This is discovery. You know what I mean? And that they just...
But then again, I mean, who knows? Dawson would have to raise the funds. I know how expensive firsthand it is to try and fight one of these big conglomerate type, infinitely perpetually funded people. And they were making other allegations too against Dawson, like he photoshopped the live stream. He intentionally photoshopped the candy bar to look different. It was a bunch of allegations I haven't really heard, but I haven't really been looking into it.
90% lies.
It seemed.
Oh, you got manipulated.
Yeah,
but
of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That doesn't make it good intentions.
Yeah. I'm just saying it seemed, and a lot of people also believe that.
Was it good intentions when he photoshopped a fake live stream and
No.
falsely accused me of not saying something I did say and falsely accused something? It was a good intentions when he put a king-size Feastables bar beside a regular-size Hershey's bar and didn't disclose that and then lied about us having more sugar than them. Was it? I mean, I could sit here and do this for the next 30 minutes.
I understand.
I think that's just a misconception that everyone has. It's like there's never good intentions.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, no, I need to let Mr. Beast Donaldson know that going to Oompaville's Texas podcast in the middle of the night on your private jet is nothing like it's going to be whenever you have to turn over materials of your business for discovery. No, it's not like that. You have to actually prove stuff in court. You can't just say, would my mom let me? Would my mom let me hire a... No, you have to have some more proof than that. And then around the 1:07 mark, Mr. Beast gets visibly agitated, irritated, I mean almost irate. It's like I'll play a little bit of the very tense interaction here, but essentially he's just absolutely outraged and flabbergasted and beside himself that Oompaville could possibly have ever believed anything, a single word that ever came out of Dogpack's mouth. He's like, and that's why you were manipulated too.
In the very beginning, I thought Soggy had good intentions. Dogpack. Exactly. Yeah. Soggy does have good intentions, in my opinion. In the very beginning, and now things obviously are. He's turned this into sort of his thing.
Good intentions, even though even the very first video literally was 90% lies.
It seemed.
You got manipulated.
Yeah,
but
of course. Yeah.
That doesn't make it good intentions.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I left out the part where they swore in the Bible.
Oh yeah.
We got to insert the Bible part. I mean, we can just put it right here. I mean, but y'all, there was a really, speaking of awkward, tense moments. The video just gets to the point right at the beginning. There's two bold, crusted out Bibles that somebody's definitely took to church many times. And then Oompaville asked Mr. Beast to put his hand on the Bible and they're going to say they're going to tell the truth or whatever. And then Mr. Beast kind of laughs at it, but he does it. And it's hard to tell if they're joking or they're serious. And Mr. Beast's like, are you serious? That was the first tense moment, I think.
Would you be willing to put your hand on this Bible and swear?
Oh my gosh, you actually have a Bible?
I have two Bibles.
Are you being serious?
I am being serious.
Okay.
I'm swearing. We're both from the South. This will be an honest video.
Oh, your laptop's blocking it.
Oh, whoops. This will be an honest video. You're a man from North Carolina. I'm from Virginia.
The Bible Belt.
The Bible Belt,
Yep.
Exactly.
I know what this means.
This means it's legit.
Yes. Okay.
There we go.
I was not expecting that. Okay.
It's just like legal now.
It is. I could go to jail.
But he did it. But he didn't swear at anything. He just put his hand on it. I guess it was to see if he was going to erupt in flames or like spontaneously combust, I guess. And then they got into the part about the crypto. CoffeeZilla wasted absolutely no time. He's already got a video out on Voidzilla, pretty much saying that it was just not adequate explanation. The explanation is not adequate. That's what pretty much the takeaway from the CoffeeZilla video is. He also claims he's never had access to that crypto wallet, which begs the question to me, what in the hell wallet has the man ever had access to? Because last time I checked, he don't have access to his businesses. He's got the power of attorney publicly filed. He don't have access to his own bank accounts, according to the Time magazine article, or was it Rolling Stone? One of them said he didn't have access to his own bank accounts, and now he don't have access to his crypto accounts. I'm just curious, what in the hell access money to what he's got? He don't run the charity. Where's his money coming from? He gets a paycheck? I have questions. He claims he had to put in $1 million of his own money to make up for a lost brand deal or two. Then they addressed the Antichrist allegations.
The devil horns thing. Dogpack actually cut a part out of his first video about you being the Antichrist. Did you see that?
I did.
What'd you think of that? I mean, you did get here a little fast, to be honest. You teleported.
The sad part is he was being serious in it. And,
yeah, he cut that part out.
And that he showed that part publicly, and people still were like, okay, well, Kim's saying Jimmy's the Antichrist because one of his studios was a church, because there's not many warehouses in North Carolina, so I just bought a church and converted it into a warehouse. Mm-hmm. And like he unironically was claiming I was the Antichrist in the same video as all these other accusations, but everyone's like, oh, that's the only crazy accusation. Everything else is true. Mm-hmm. When I saw that, I was like, okay, now people are gonna like be like, okay, maybe he's just, but Didn't change anything.
Which it's like so interesting to me that Oompaville took time to address the Antichrist allegations and missed the Ava Chris Tyson allegations. Do you think that's interesting? I find it to be. So then they're kind of joking and har-harring about the Antichrist stuff. And this is weird to me because they swore on the Bible like an hour before that they were going to do this. And that was going to be why they knew that they were taking it serious. But it's like they saying that it was not. Like Mr. B said, the sad part is Dawson was being serious in it. So it's sad to be serious about the Antichrist. Then it's sad to put your hand on the Bible an hour ago and swear you was going to tell the truth. I mean, you got to pick a side, right?
I mean, yeah, does it like bother you? Did that bother you specifically? Or is it just, I mean, because like, how do you even...
I'm not the Antichrist. I mean, where's the Bible?
Yeah,
I'm not the Antichrist. There you go.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I kind of thought you might be. It is a weird one because I've heard people say that in my real life. They're like, his name is. We live out here in the sticks.
Yeah.
All right, and they're like, his name is Beast. It's got the 6,000. That's a 6. Like people, I think that's very funny, to be honest, and in like an ironic way. I don't actually obviously believe that you are the Antichrist.
I'll be honest. I don't even know what that means. The Antichrist. I see those like conspiracy theories occasionally, and I don't even. If I was just like, I tweeted, yes, I'm the Antichrist. Like, what does that even mean? Yeah.
Anyway, so then I guess as a joke, but it's hard to even tell with these people, the Oompaville guys, like, do you ever speak in Babylonian chants? No, curses. He's like, do you ever speak in Babylonian curses? And Jimmy James Donaldson is like, not that, what did he say? Only occasionally, not in the past year.
Do you ever speak in Babylonian curses?
Only occasionally. Not in the past year. I've kind of moved away from it.
Yeah, you've stopped speaking in tongues.
I mean, we need to stop joking like this because that's gonna be the
People
next.
are gonna
Gonna be the next More Pegasus video.
Mr. Beast Antichrist confirmed.
Yeah, they're gonna take the clip of me talking about the thumbnail with the horns and put that there.
Yeah, I'll show them a picture of my circle with a pentagram in it that you spawned out of.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So then he's like, I actually called CoffeeZilla months ago and asked him to break down Beast Philanthropy and try to find anything fraudulent in there.
I've seen a lot of people ask about that too. So for the Beast Philanthropy, anyone can audit our books. We pass the audit every year, and we make those things public. Also, I actually called CoffeeZilla like 9 months ago, and I asked him to do a video where he like broke down. Maybe it was the 9 months ago. I don't know the exact month, but like break down Beast Philanthropy and try to find anything fraudulent in there because we're super anal about every penny spent on the charity. So I would, if anyone wants to do a deep dive on our charity, I would love that because it would be awesome. So people could see the links we go to on the main channel. I mean, we don't have much transparency, but I mean, it would just be depressing if I showed people because a lot of our newer philanthropic videos we do on the main channel, like building 100 houses, wells, blind people, we don't do brand deals on them. So those videos lose a ton of money because we definitely don't make enough money off the ad revenue to pay for them. So every single time we do one of those videos on the main channel, it's usually -$1 or -$2 million. So, I mean, that's basically the transparency. When I do it on the main channel, they typically lose a fuckload of money. The charity, if anyone wants to like deep dive the books, that'd be awesome. I've been wanting some YouTuber to do that so we could show like how impressive what we do is.
Again, reaching out to people and trying to push a different narrative of what's going on. Reaching out to CoffeeZilla. Well, I can tell you one thing. Nobody reached out to me with nobody's books. They talk about exploiting vulnerable people. They talk about the Team C's project. Anyone who made a video saying that the philanthropy is fake, honestly, if you could just delete them.
Anyone who made those videos like saying the philanthropy is fake, like that's the one that bothers me the most because we go so above and beyond. Like, honestly, if you could just delete them, like that'd be great. So, like,
let the record reflect. I never said the philanthropy is fake, so surely he's not talking about me. I don't think that he was because in there, Oompaville said commentary guys, so I feel like that's free and clear of me. Okay, they're talking about other people that's not here. That's not me. He says and he claims. He did not know that Delaware was a S offender. He did not know he had that criminal history. The story that got propagated around by, I guess it was the Viking or maybe it was Weddle or one of them, but the story got propagated around that Jimmy and Susan Marie King Donaldson Perisher sat there and had a talk, a little heart-to-heart with them, and he confessed that he was on the registry and they hired him anyway. Jimmy said false fake news. That's not real and that's not true. And then he goes, actually, quote, obviously don't remember that.
There's a rumor that's gone around that said that he sat me and my mom down and told us. Obviously, I don't remember that happening. And when I read that tweet, the first thing I did was I called my mom and I was like, hey, this is like 7 or 8 years ago. Just put this in context. 7 or 8 years ago. Not indicative of my company today, but...
So it leaves a little bit of room open for me. I mean, maybe it happened and he don't remember it. He didn't say Ned never, 100% never. He said, I don't remember that. So... I don't know, maybe somebody was recording it. I don't know. Maybe it never happened. And then his proof of how he didn't know is, like I said earlier, is his mama wouldn't have let him do that. Y'all know his mama wouldn't have let him do that. So that's the proof he has.
I was like, did this happen? Because someone's claiming this happened. My mom said, I would have literally quit or honestly probably shut the business down before I ever let my teenage son hire a registered sex offender knowingly, which I have a very protective mom. So, I mean, even if you don't believe me, you should at least believe that. I feel like it's not absurd to believe that.
Talks about Jake Weddle. He says that it was a little bit beyond to be comparing the challenge with war crimes. That I would agree with. I had that same reaction even whenever I first heard the allegation that it was a violation of the Geneva Convention. Because in order to be violating the Geneva Convention, there has to be a war going on between the two factions for one, and then the person can't be allowed to leave. Now, was it torturous? Was it traumatic? Was it all that? I mean, we could get into that discussion, but it was not a freaking the same thing as a war crime. So with that, I'm going to say I would agree with that one thing. He tries to defend himself again with the crypto stuff, but CoffeeZilla, I'm going to defer. I'm going to defer to CoffeeZilla. The CoffeeZilla said it ain't enough, so I'm going to go with CoffeeZilla on that one. And yeah, so if you're wondering, yep, this merch is now available. So click in the link in the description box and you can get it.
BJ investigate, she gonna find the truth. She gonna crack the case here. It's not a lie when it's paperwork. She will expose the truth. Daily updates for you. Better subscribe like I knew you would. We gotta stand for what's right. We gotta do for the good, yeah. I don't know what y'all have heard. That surprise witness got the word. We don't believe in Scientology. I do not need your mind control on me. We don't need your conservative shifts, no. We doing right, what's right for the kids. Whoa.
Y'all cannot control me. I control my own mind. You could've controlled me then. Still not in this lifetime. Can you send us down the pink angel from the heavens of truth? You don't want to debate with BJ. Studying law is what she do.